Welcome back to our special CNN Spotlight, Bo Bergdahl. In this past half hour, we've heard from friends and from fellow soldiers who have said Bo Bergdahl was a guy who was looking to the horizon and then one day disappeared into it. They had Bergdahl's weapon and his body armor, but he was gone. And it was that instant, according to the soldiers with whom he served, that their mission became all about Bo Bergdahl. For the soldiers of Blackfoot Company, life in Afghanistan was hot and dusty. Hurry up! Their mission always dangerous and at times frustrating.
These people are so fickle, man.
And to some, futile.
These people just want to be left alone. They got dicked with from the Russians for 17 years, and then now we're here.
For Private Bo Bergdahl, the war had left him deeply disillusioned. In an email to his parents, obtained by Rolling Stone magazine but not independently verified by CNN, Bergdahl wrote of the horrors of war. "I am sorry for everything here," Bo told his parents. "These people need help." Yet what they get is the most conceited country in the world telling them that they are nothing and that they are stupid, that they have no idea how to live. It read like a parting shot. "The horror that is America is disgusting," he wrote. And 2 days later, Bo Bergdahl disappeared.
He was about to go on guard shift. Someone went to wake him up for his shift, and that's when they found out that he was not there.
Bergdahl's gun, his bulletproof vest, his night vision goggles were all accounted for. But the soldier himself had vanished.
They just said, "Hey, OP2, is Bergdahl up there?" I got on the radio and I said, "No, he's not up here." They got back on the radio and said, "Hey, has anyone seen Bergdahl?" I'll never forget that line, "Has anyone seen Bergdahl?"
On July 1st, 2009, Private Bo Bergdahl was officially classified as duty status, whereabouts unknown.
It didn't take long to search the whole OP. We talked to the Afghan army personnel who were there as well. Bergdahl liked to hang out with them, and he spoke with them a lot. They hadn't seen him, they didn't know where he was at. It didn't take long before it came pretty clear that he was gone.
Once we found out that he was nowhere around, it just immediately went into a 100% hands-on-deck search for him to try to get him back.
Troops fanned out across Paktika province in southern Afghanistan looking for one of their own, one of their brothers. Planes, surveillance, other assets were diverted from other parts of Afghanistan to help with the search.
Our commanders are sparing no effort to find this young soldier.
Handing out these flyers to locals. One warning: if you do not release the U.S. soldier, you will be hunted.
We immediately pushed out a patrol into the local village. As we left the base, two small boys walked up to us and they told us that they saw an American crawling through the weeds by himself. They were saying that this was very odd to them. They're like, "We never see the Americans walking around by themselves." And he was just by himself. He didn't have a weapon with him. He didn't have any armor with him. He was just crawling through the weeds.
And then another lead. This one shocking.
I was standing right next to the radio when they heard that there's an American in a village called Yayakale, which was about 2 miles from where we were at. It's a village that has a very large presence of Taliban. He's looking for someone who speaks English so he can talk to the Taliban. I heard it straight from the interpreter's lips as he heard it over the radio. And at that point, it was like, this is kind of snowballing out of control.
One former government official, expert in the case, says this detail, if true, may not necessarily be as nefarious as it sounds, citing indicators that Bergdahl may have been on something of a messianic mission to try and broker a peace with the Taliban. Around that same time, a CNN source describes a dramatic scene, Bergdahl appearing in a local village, seemingly under the influence of a hallucinogenic drug.
Local villagers came up to him immediately and said, "Go back, it's dangerous." But Bergdahl didn't speak Pashto, the local language. They didn't speak English, so there was no meeting of the minds there. And he says that local Taliban commanders heard that he was there. They tried to forcibly take Bergdahl away. Bergdahl resisted. They beat him. They took off his military uniform, put on local clothes, even a local turban, and then took him away.
The military, which had launched an internal investigation, discovered another startling clue. Before his disappearance, Bergdahl had mailed his computer and some books back home to his family. And in a sign of how sensitive this situation was becoming, the Army told Bergdahl's fellow soldiers to sign non-disclosure agreements, making them promise not to talk about the circumstances of his disappearance. Until and unless we hear from Bo Bergdahl himself, we may never know how he ended up in the Taliban's hands.
I was lagging behind the patrol when I was captured.
With Bergdahl officially a Taliban hostage, the hunt for him intensified.
It was 60 days or more, I remember, just straight. All we did was look for Bergdahl. All we were doing is going on leads. We'd get intel that he was in a specific village or he was being moved from a village to another location, and we would act on that intelligence, essentially chasing a ghost because we never came up with anything.
In the months that followed, the 501st Infantry Division lost 6 soldiers. It's a matter of some debate whether they were all killed while solely in the service of searching for Bergdahl, but many of his comrades feel the events are directly tied to each other.
Bergdahl leaving changed the mission.
If he wouldn't have deserted us, these soldiers very well could have been in a different place at a different time.
It was a very big betrayal.
The military has promised a comprehensive review.
Let's get the facts, but let's first focus on getting Sergeant Bergdahl well.
Until then, the mystery surrounding Bo Bergdahl and what happened to him that fateful night remain. Bergdahl's hometown of Haley, Idaho has decided to cancel the celebration it had planned for him later this month over concerns that outsiders will flood the streets of their small town. It's a homecoming on hold. I'm Jake Tapper. For continuing coverage of Sergeant Bo Bergdahl's long journey back, stay tuned to